Hello, it's Angela from Create for Living, and today I'd like to share with you why I bullet journal and a little bit about my bullet journaling journey. I started bullet journaling in about 2015. That's when I encountered Ryder Carroll, who's the founder of the bullet journaling method, which I believe he really began in 2013. I've always journaled creatively, but the bullet journaling method that Ryder Carroll introduced really just helped me organize and give purpose to my bullet journaling and my creative journaling, and really have the freedom to customize my own planner and to have my own artistic expression and to discover what works for me. And that's really where I began that. For about 2 years it was very messy, lots and lots of different lined notebooks, and in about 2017 I moved to dot grids, and that just gave me a lot more freedom. I used square paper before that, and a lot of it was functional. It's only when I began to really add paints that I felt like I was starting to find my true expression of bullet journaling myself and what worked for me. Now, I do use different kinds of bullet journaling methods in different kinds of areas. My work bullet journal is very different to my personal bullet journal that you see here. This is an Archer and Olive bullet journal that I'm using currently, with a floating feather with this beautiful duck egg color in the cover, and so I'm kind of trying to copy that with acrylic paint on the inside here, and I'm drawing a quill and feather here, and I'm going to write on that piece of paper just really my philosophy on what bullet journaling is, and just share that a little bit with you. There's such a big debate about what is the right method to bullet journal, and I see a lot of Facebook groups and people in the bullet journaling world saying, aesthetic bullet journaling versus the true bullet journaling method, and this is right and this is wrong. And really, I think why those of us who bullet journal do bullet journal is to get away from this idea that there's only one exact way, one size fits all. When it comes to planners, this idea of going to a store and buying a one-size-fits-all planner is not something that we subscribe to. We recognize the beauty in putting pen to paper ourselves, that process of planning is just as valuable as following the plan, and that plan changes. What might work for me one week may not work for me the next. And so being able to customize this to suit my life and express myself, and to organize, to dream as I go, such a key part of bullet journaling. So I just want to explain how I'm doing this. It's acrylic paint, and you'll see I'm using a wet wipe, and I'm putting gold acrylic on top of that, and so just sort of splushing that over the page, and that creates this gold shimmer to the page, and I did that as well on the scroll, so that's where I get that effect. And I'm just using a Tombow pen to add a little bit of detailing around to give it back the detail of the scroll and of that feather. I use different kinds of blues and greens and purples to create the effect of the quill and the background. And I really think adding those extra lines and tears in the scroll just give it that little bit of definition and make it stand out a little bit if you're wanting to recreate something similar to this in your bullet journal. This is quite near the beginning, as you saw just after the key page. And part of me using acrylics was because I overworked the watercolor on the key page. I did have a little bit of leaf blue, so acrylics is one of the ways I covered that. Alright, so let me read to you what I'm writing here, which is really a little bit about why I bullet journal. So a bullet journal is a little piece of your heart. It's hope-filled, hours of creativity and raw emotion, all bundled in one notebook. Your bullet journal becomes a companion you take with you everywhere and run to when you feel you need a place of safety to help you dream, plan, and do what God has placed on your heart to do. In this way, bullet journaling is a form of art. Those of us who post on social media share a part of our hearts as we share our pages. We share not out of a need for the world to see, but rather a deep desire that it may set someone else free to express their own hearts. and find the joy that creative planning can bring as they embrace that journey for themselves. As they reach for their own bullet journal, our hope is that they too find a precious, long-lasting friend who will help them create a life lived more to the full. This is Create for Living, and it is why I bullet journal. So that's just something I wrote, and I think it really encompasses why I share here on social media, on YouTube and on Instagram and Facebook, and why I share my bullet journaling pages. It's to share a part that's quite intimate, a part of myself, a part of my personal expression. And so the way that I do this is very personal, and yet I hope that it gives you ideas and inspires you to pick up pen and be creative, whatever that means, whether that's using paints or just black and whites, doodles or just words, whatever expresses where you're at and what you want to do at that time and helps you to organize and dream and make sense of the present, plan for the future. That's what bullet journaling is. And so I think it's really important that we don't become critical of each other's long lost friends. Everyone has different friends. Friends come in all shapes and sizes, and so do bullet journals. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And I gained so much by looking at the traditional style journals that are more just lines and words, and looking at the electronic bullet journals, and also then looking at the more artsy bullet journals. I love that we embrace all of these things in all types and sizes in the bullet journaling community, and I hope that we'll be able to inspire each other, encourage each other, and work together to become more creative in our expression, to help each other through what we're going through. Journaling is such a good way to work through personal issues and struggles. There's so many people who bullet journal because they're facing difficulty in their own lives, depression and anxiety and various things, or just finding organizational chaos and want to find a strategy that works for them. And so it's really important, I think, that we recognize the breadth of our community and embrace the breadth of expression that we see in different kinds of bullet journaling. So I've just switched now to real-time writing. I thought it would be a good idea for you to see my not fast-forwarded brush lettering, just to see how that's come along 4 months into me working on that. And I have on the left here, a quote by Ryder Carroll from the Bullet Journal Method book. And he speaks about the fact that bullet journaling, it's part organization, part soul searching, part dream weaving. I think that's just such a beautiful way to look at that. So there'll be certain things that lend themselves more to organization, but if we get so convinced that organization is all that it's about, we miss out on the soul searching and the beautiful aspect of dream weaving. So it's making sense of the past and considering and organizing our present, and then dreaming and looking towards the future. And all of that can be encompassed in a bullet journal. And there may be seasons where you're focusing one of those aspects. There may be times where you're focusing more on organization, or times where you're focusing more on soul searching, or times where you're really wanting to dream and to push forward. I mean, having new habits can be dream weaving. And then having habit trackers can be a part of organizing that as you try and seek to live that out. So I think it's so vital that we embrace the journey and find our own space and recognize that that place may move. My bullet journal has changed so much over the years, and it isn't overnight that I'm creating a bullet journal like this. This is now my 5th year bullet journaling, so using formally the bullet journaling method, but I have always been creative planning, and I've often customized journals for myself anyway. But using and refining my own process is an ongoing thing, and it's something I never guarantee will take for granted it'll be the same. I recognize that every month and every year and even every day may be completely different. And anytime I encounter a page that's not quite right, I'm quite happy to turn the page and start again, because that's part of life, really, isn't it? So I hope you'll embrace that journey. I hope you'll embrace part organization, part soul searching, and part dreaming, weaving. And if you're new to bullet journaling, just begin. It's an expression of yourself. Just start on page 1, watch some YouTube videos, learn a bit about the method, look up Ryder Carroll, and then make it your own. That's really the best advice I can do, is make it your own every day. And when you find something that doesn't work for you, that means that you're doing bullet journaling the right way, because you're discovering who you are and what works best for you. And that means it's as important to find what doesn't work, because that helps you find what does work. So do enjoy that process. Just talking about this brush lettering, I'm using a Faber-Castell brush pen, Artist Pits, and you can see I just added a little bit of flourishes on the end. I pressed down on the downstrokes to get that wider downstroke and then lighter on the upstrokes. And now I'm going with the Tombow brush pen, and this has a smaller nib, so I can do its parts. So I'm just using very simple writing again, pushing down on those downstrokes to get them to be thicker. And I'm going to try and write sort of block capitals in the same way. You see, I almost have to color it in a little bit afterwards because I don't get my downstroke thick enough. I want it a bit more pronounced, so I just go over it again. And you can see brush lettering is much slower than normal lettering. So this is just something I've been working on. I love the look of brush lettering, and it's just something that I've had as a goal this year to work on, because I just like always growing and learning, and my bullet journal includes that. So that's my page on why I bullet journal. Let me know why you bullet journal below. Do tag me in any posts that you do. Do you have a more aesthetic bullet journal? Do you have a more organizational one? What's your style? Does it change? I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you again in the next video. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do. Very grateful. I've just reached 100 subscribers and I literally did a happy dance. I appreciate every single one of you. So please keep subscribing to my channel, and I'll keep the content coming, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright.